Welcome to another video. My name is Lee Bowden. Welcome to my channel. And so I'm just going to do a little bit of a update like I do. Things have been looking up. We've been climbing uphill in pretty much every way. And so I'm pretty stoked that I don't have much to complain about. Of course, there are always life stresses. But I've been able to shift my perception so much. And I mean, my whole journey this last year, my whole blog, like everything about what I've put out there, has been in regards to self-healing and healing my traumas, my wounds, and my things. And like, I'm not just saying that, I am doing it. I feel like I've learned more in the last year than I did in the last 4 years of high school. I feel like I've cried more this last year to like release the emotions and like get through my stuff. I feel like I cried more in the last year than I probably did my first year of life. Like I just, it's been heavy, and like I'll admit for the rest of my life, like how weird my wake up was and how shaken I was in that Dark Night episode. And I'm really glad that I have the kind of, first of all, I'm an Aquarius, like Capricorn Aquarius, that I want to know things. Like I would rather know than not know. Like even if it's bad news, which even bad news to me is just kind of like a challenge, something to like a challenge to transmute. And the other thing about this year that has been really cool is, my intention was to heal, but behind that is like the real rawness of me wanting to be able to help people and knowing that I can't help people if I'm not able to help myself. And so that underlayer, that beginning intention, that beginning openness, really made the world a difference. And I'm speaking about, early 2019. If you look back at my stuff, so now we're almost a year from that kind of into this whole change, this whole transformation for me. And it's been really gnarly, and I've really kind of been a hermit about it. There's been very few people in my life the last 2 years, other than my immediate family, my daughter, my hubby, and a couple of friends. And so, this is not the way that my life was. Like before I moved in my mom's and before I had a baby, like we took people in constantly and we had new roommates constantly. I don't know if I could count very easily without my roommate's help anyways, like how many roommates we had throughout the process of living there, that like 5 years that we did in this shithole rundown house. And like, so there's just been a lot that's changed the last couple of years, but it's been so slow in the making, and I've been so locked up in my own crap. And so my wake up really, like, I've just really realized that the only person that can really make a difference in my life is me. And I may be able to have help from other people and all, and that's great, but the change actually comes from the belief that change can happen, first of all. And then second of all, the ongoing effort to follow up on those intentions and to keep that intention, like to simply just to heal. And if you have been in my life for a while, my motto for when I got pregnant and was pregnant with Charlie was a little bit every day is more in every way. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. I mean, I don't have to change my whole life overnight. Although I realize that can happen, but it starts by a little bit every day. And I'm no longer in that little bit every day kind of mindset of like, and I really just did that for myself, like a little bit of effort for myself, a little bit of work on myself is a little bit of work in it, along. And so I've just really embraced learning about how to do the things that I've really wanted to know how to do. And I think there's a lot of fear that was wrapped up in that. Fear in what areas of research that I'll have to do. Fear of dealing with my past traumas, things that I didn't want to think about. So I didn't want to learn about those things because it would make me think about what I didn't want to think about. So now that I've actually gone into this is like, no, the whole reason I want to learn about this is to fix those issues in my life. It just was it was like coming at it from a different angle. And I'm just like, I feel like I'm a walking library now of a lot of information that I've kind of always known. I just had to remember that I knew by learning the lessons and following up on learning about the things that I always wanted to learn about, but for whatever reason was afraid to. So, I mean, I've just really turned myself around. I feel like I'm living life on it, like from the inside out, and now instead of the outside in, instead of like just, I'm an Aquarius, I can just kind of like go with the flow. But I also have this kind of drive to like want to know where we're gonna go and what we're gonna do, and it's what I think drove me craziest. Wasn't the voices. It wasn't that it was not knowing what I wanted. Like, it's great to have answers to all these questions, these lifelong questions, and feel like you understand at least your own experience. That's great. That's amazing. But to not know what you want is a difficult, troublesome type of thing. And what I've found is that by kind of facing all those fears and knocking down all those barriers that you have to protect yourself from things repeating, they're just so unnecessary, because those are the things that would have, just because I think we go through traumas and failures, and we then look back and like fear that we're gonna do it all the same way again, so we don't do it at all the same way, and we used to have these same patterns. We meet the same people and the same embodiments and like the same types of people. We attract the same type of things. We do the same blah, blah, blah. And that's all scientifically based. You know, our brains and our bodies have this habitual way of doing the same things over and over again. So even though you're telling yourself like you're not going to do that same thing, you're not going to go after that same type of person, you're not going to fall for those same kind of tricks, like they come back into your life because that's what you're still thinking about, and you fall right back into them. So the tricky part has been while retaining the consciousness of being awake and in tune and loving yourself. It's honestly hard to wake up and love yourself when that's not your habit. When your habit is to, for years and years and years, wake up and just like do what you have to do for other people and feel like you're trying to help other people, but you're never helping yourself. Like, that becomes your habit. Your body wakes up in a mode that is allowing it to be attracted by other people who need help. And like, so it's this backward thing. Whereas now I wake up, ooh, get in there and lay down. Go. You chill. Sorry. So hopefully that didn't wake up baby. Ugh. Anyways, I've come a long ways in my whole mindset. So what this has done for me over this last year is now I literally wake up without effort. And just the first thing I do is like, I'm glad to be awake because I'm with me. Like, no matter what I dreamed about, or like what's going on, or if the baby's yelling at me, or like Bowden's alarm is going off for like the 5th time, I wake up with my first thoughts being positive, to be with myself. And that is a huge perspective change that I didn't know how to imagine before. And as soon as I imagined that I could actually like who I am, it's just totally different. So I know it sounds all funny and stuff, but like, it really is wrapped up in all this stuff that I've been doing. So I am really ready for me to get out there and be able to help people, because I know how to help myself. With that understanding, the only way that I currently know how to help other people is by expressing my experience. My dream is now, my vision is now, to be able to be with my baby, teach my baby, work on the blog, and help people and actually be the scribe, get the messages that I already have wrapped up in here out and for the world, and share it, because there's people out there that need that information. I know that. But additionally, I do want to be able to actually help people change and shift and transform their energy. So my main primary goal is like, I really do want to be able to do that. And to be able to do that, I need the money to be able to do that, and I also to take the classes and get the certification, which is actually a very easy thing to do. Money is like my only block. that would keep me from being able to do this. And so anything at all that I earned from doing this work and giving the information out to the universe through my blog and my Facebook profile, I hope that Patreon can bring me in enough to be able to take those classes so that I can be able to work with those people who need that help. And so I'm really realizing how much possibility there is for me now that I know what it is that I want. And to know that it's possible, and that these blocks that I've made up, these excuses that I've told myself, are totally unrealistic. I'll shortly define my money block, because it's an interesting one. It was wrapped up in, I kind of had this, my parents got divorced when I was young. So somewhere along the lines, and I know more details about this myself, I'm just trying to summarize. My inner child decided at a very, very young age, about 10, that love was more important than money. And I made that decision, and I stuck to it. And from that standpoint, at 10 years old, being raised in a Christian home, good and bad was still part of my vocabulary. And I said love is good and money is bad. And so I've really been against money, religiously against money from my inner childhood standpoint. Now, the inner child is very, it's the inner person that wants to be comfortable and safe and doesn't really know a lot about what that is. It just wants life to just take care of it and make it safe so it can play and have fun and be comfortable. And wealth, people that feed it and people that bring it water and pick up toys off the ground and everything I do for my baby, that's the inner child, and we all still have that remembrance. And so we all still have those inner poles of what would make that individual inner child most comfortable. Is it having all the toys on your Christmas list met, or is it just a kid who likes to have be surrounded with other kids? Is it a type of kid who just needs to be out in nature? All of our inner childs had these different requirements. And so one of my inner child's requirements was love over money. And so until very recently, didn't I realize this? Money was still my enemy. It was if I got money, then I had to spend it because I didn't want it. And so I didn't attract it. Even when I worked, I put it towards the things that I needed, and I didn't want to deal with it. So even when it comes to paying bills and working with money and opening mail and stuff, all of that it's all money. It's all their whole world is to do with money. And until just last year, I was literally counted myself out because I was choosing love over money. So I was choosing helping my friends when I didn't have any stability to do so. It was all wrapped up in that same kind of mental block, that same kind of misunderstanding with myself. So now that I've dealt with and talked to that inner child, and I know what she wants, and I know an idea about what I want, and I'm not afraid of money. We dealt with that. We realized that was an illegitimate choice to make. Right? So now we can get to a point where we can get money and have love and make both of those things grow and expand, and they're only going to feed into each other positively. So I want to take that kind of mentality to make my inner child happy, that I don't have to go out there and hurt, take any super long hours away from my own kid to go do this. It's all kind of really interesting how it's wrapped up and stuff. So anyways, that's what I'm doing. If you would like to help me with any of this, it's really super simple. You can access my database. So along this journey, I made for myself a database which has everything linked in it, from the chakras and the emotions and all the things that I'm linking together as one. Because what I do is I unify. Lightworker standpoint, I'm a unifier. I understand that's what I do. I get what I'm doing now. I also have been told my plan. So it's all wrapped up in this, but the database is really cool and it's really available. So patreon.com is how you can access the database, and so that has everything in it. You don't have to read anything. You don't have to watch any of the videos. You can just access the information yourself and dig through it and start doing your own inner work. And if you need to know how, that's what my blog's for, which is free. All this is for free for me. So Patreon is basically you supporting my dream, and in response for you supporting this that I'm doing, this cycle that I just explained, you get access to my databases. Whichever one you want, or all of them, it's up to you. I'm just going to keep adding to them as I add to them. As is, they're amazing, but they are just only going to get better, and you can just continue to have access to them. So in support of you donating your cash to me, anywhere from $3, $6, $9, or $12, that's all I'm talking about, you can access these databases, which is hugely informational stuff that you can just use. So if you like any of what I'm saying, and you want to, or you just want to follow along and get the free stuff that I do on my blog and my channel and stuff anyways, just hit subscribe and head over to Facebook and follow me there. I'll see you guys later, and I'll try and do another video here very shortly on more of this stuff. All right, peace.